29-year-old Kiera Anderson and 2 little boys, 5-year-old Joseph Jr. and 2-year-old Jeffrey. Then they say Joseph Anderson turned the gun on himself.
I'm Brittany Bailey.
9 days after a tornado devastated Mayfield, Kentucky, Maddox the cat was found alive in the rubble of a home on Sunday. His owner says he's fine. I'm Dave James on the Ohio News Network.
Live and local conversation for the Ohio Valley continues shortly, here on the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe.
Are you traveling? Working a little bit too much? Is your fur baby starting to get a little shaggy? Let Dirty Paws be your one-stop shop for all of your pet care needs. Stop in and see us at 202 18th Street or give us a call at 304-639-7754 to schedule your appointments for dog grooming, doggy daycare, and dog boarding today.
Biden, Pelosi, and Schumer are advancing a radical agenda, including overriding state laws and putting our elections in the hands of federal bureaucrats. Now the Washington extremists.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll just go right to him then, after the opening stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Well, why don't you, I'm going to talk Festivus here for just a second, an airing of grievances before I get to Dave. Why don't you throw that one out there? That gives him a chance, maybe, that gives me a chance to segue into the ads against him. So, if, when I say, Biff, you had the roads, any other grievances you want to air, just, you might mention that. Yeah. And then that'll be a good transition into McKinley. Yeah, exactly. I like that. That's a good idea.
Needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only IT company that the Watchdog trusts.
Highland Sports Complex is the coolest destination for sports and entertainment the Ohio Valley has ever seen. Pop in for some open basketball in our field house or reserve some turf time for your next practice or game on our synthetic fields. Online registration is open for development classes and leagues for youth and adults. Highland Sports is also the hottest destination for birthday parties and other events. So come challenge yourself on our play climb and enjoy your favorite virtual reality game in the arcade. No memberships required, so visit highlandsports.com to find your next entertainment experience and get ready to reach new heights.
This holiday season, give family and friends the gift of a night out at West Banco Arena and Capitol Theater. With tickets and gift certificate offerings, there's something for everyone. Call 304-233-7000. That's 304-233-7000.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm the Storm Tracker, Darnell Foster, with a look at your local weather forecast for your Thursday. Look for mostly cloudy skies at times, a few peaks of sunshine, a daytime high near 42. Your overnight low of 31 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. You'll see mostly cloudy with a few scattered showers around for your Christmas Eve, with temperatures in the low 50s for daytime highs. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
Hey, boy, what day is this?
Why, it's Christmas, sir.
That's wonderful!
We've got to get everybody back in the Christmas spirit.
Deck them halls and all that stuff.
Well, deck the halls.
Kind of the reason for the season.
You're standing under the mistletoe.
Santa's coming!
Santa's coming to town!
Santa! Oh, my God!
So, what do you want for Christmas?
My favorite show.
Well, you got it.
Showtime.
This is a great conversation for the holidays or any time of year. You're listening to the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe.
It is warming up like it's not a lot. 22 degrees right now at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport, 23 degrees here at my home studios in the Elm Grove section of Wheeling, and 23 degrees at the Robinson Auto Group studios downtown Wheeling in the heart of the Ohio Valley. Some wind blowing around, feels like temperature mid-teens, feels like 15, 16 degrees or so. It is partly cloudy, and that's going to be kind of the word of the day today. Tomorrow warming up a little bit to 50, but rain for Christmas Eve, and also close to 60, but rain on Christmas Day. There will not be a white Christmas here in the Ohio Valley. Now, where have we been and where are we going this morning? The countdown to CARES funding loss in West Virginia continues. A little more than a week to spend the $75 million remaining in CARES money, or it goes back to the federal government. What's Governor Justice going to do? A lot of groups are asking for a share of that. We'll take a look at what some of them are asking for. We stayed with the Joe Manchin story for a while today. Ask you the question, is the senator more in touch with West Virginia than his Democratic colleagues think he is? Or is he out of touch with what Mountain State citizens want? Raging debate in the national scene about that. You can text me, you can call me, you can check the posts on Facebook or Twitter and respond there. We talked last hour to Secretary of State Mac Warner. They're moving some voters from the active to inactive role, but if you get a postcard that you are about to be moved, you are able to check a box or scan a QR code and you'll stay on the active role. That's really important stuff. And it is our last day together before Biff and I take our long holiday break. We'll be off tomorrow and off on Monday. See you again on Tuesday. But today we're celebrating Festivus. Festivus for the rest of us, created by the Seinfeld TV show. George Costanza's dad had Festivus for the rest of us, and the Festivus poll, and of course, the key part of Festivus, which always is celebrated on December 23rd, key part is the airing of the grievances. Airing of the grievances. And many of you have had good grievances to share with us. Some of you have grieved about me. I kind of expected that. Some of you have grieved about other things. Brother Biff was grieving about, his grievance was the roads in downtown Wheeling. Our friend Larry called earlier, was complaining about commercials, Biff, and you wanted to take that a step further, too.
Yeah, when Larry called in earlier, and the way he started, when he said, TV and radio and newspaper, of course he said, that they had talked about struggling, but the way he started, I thought he was going to mention all the commercials, specifically the political ads so far that we've seen for the elections that are coming up here.
Yeah, I mean, we have been running tons of commercials for I don't even know what the commercials are for sometimes. We've got these thank Joe Manchin ads that we're running, TV's running, and I can't tell if they're saying thank him for being a no vote or thank him for considering being a yes. But boy, we get a lot of them. And of course, that means we make some money, and we're happy about that. And then on TV, man, these ads from Alex Mooney have just been ripping Dave McKinley apart. In fact, Congressman McKinley is here with us this morning. Do those ads bug you, Congressman?
Well, I think they're irritating because they're distorting information. I think the fact that they're trying to divert attention from some of the other issues. But it's unfortunately it's part of the way our society has moved real recently. So no, I'm not real crazy about it. But listen, Howard, if I could hear my grievance, what about Bette Midler? What are we going to do about her? How can she make those statements about us? Okay.
See, I have a
Am I in the season of Festivus?
The Festivus? No, that's a fair grievance. I mean, she said it out of anger and spite, and she intended to be mean. Okay. On the other hand,
it was mean.
It
was, Howard. That was mean. It was mean. It was
absolutely.
It was not in
and
the
I do not alibi it
Christmas.
away. I do not, and she apologized at least, which I give her good credit for, if nothing else. But let's look at that. Truth of the matter is, we are among the poorest states in the country, and the truth of the matter is, we do have a high level of, I don't know about illiteracy per se, but we have a lot of. Our education level is lower than other parts of the country, and we are indeed number one or number two very often anymore in opioid and drug use. It's not factually incorrect. It was just a really mean thing to say.
But what about? I was told the other day that our literacy rate is actually in West Virginia is higher than it is in New York and California. So just be careful of the facts. I need to verify that someone sent that to me, whether it's accurate or not. But this is not. This is the holiday spirit. This isn't the time to be attacking a state. If you want to attack an individual for how he voted, that's one thing. But don't take on the whole state, because we have a passion for that. And Howard, you well know, you've grown up in West Virginia. It's one thing for us to say about our situation, but when someone on the outside, some elitist from Hollywood wants to say, I take offense at that. And so we're pushing back on that against Bet. But if I could, it's not airing a grievance, but last time you and I were on the show, I wanted to say something about your daughter, Natalie Klein. I like the fact that she has stayed here.
She ran against you.
And she has a tree out at the Festival of Trees, Ogilvy Institute, and it's beautiful. And she needs to be credited for staying here, trying to make our area stronger. We may disagree politically, and that's what makes our society so strong. But it is, she cared. She's still caring, trying to help West Virginia. So please extend that to her, and if you could, wish her for me a Merry Christmas, okay?
I appreciate that, and I'm sure she will too, and I will be happy to do so. She's a delightful woman, smart girl, gotta be careful. She's a smart woman.
Wonder where she obviously doesn't get it from you, Howard.
And she lends me her child on almost a daily basis. So I have these in the other room right now. My 6-year-old grandson is here, and so that's, if nothing else, and she does many other things, but if nothing else, she lends me my grandson, and that's the important thing for me. So,
Howard, you back the Bette Midler issue raised. I'm trying to understand. She can be upset with Joe Manchin, but what I'd like, either she or you or someone else, tell me why on the Build Back Better plan, why would anyone, why do we want as a nation, why do we want to give tax breaks to the millionaires and billionaires by raising the deductibility on taxes from $10,000 up to $80,000? Why would we do that? What's good for America by raising, giving them tax breaks? I thought that was an important thing, that we wanted to balance out the taxes so that the rich did pay a higher share of their taxes. Why would we do that?
You know, Congressman, right there is the problem, I guess, with Build Back Better. We hear all of the positive sides of it. We hear about, there's a lot of lobbying being done about child care tax credits are going to help raise people out of poverty. I believe that to be true. I think those child care tax credits are good. There was a lot of talk about the need for family and medical leave, and although it wasn't in the bill, I think that was good. There's so much good stuff in there, but it is a bill that has an awful lot in it that isn't getting as much attention, and I suspect that's where a lot of people in this state have a problem.
What about child care? We have pre-K in West Virginia. 53% of the kids get their pre-K in church-affiliated, like Vance Church or out in the Grove. This is where they get their pre-K. Under this bill, that was going to be restricted so that they were going to force you to close the religious base. And that's, I don't understand. Those are just a series of things. I'd like to understand, why is that good for America when we have a program that works in West Virginia? Why would we shut it down and pivot to something else? I'd like to understand, Howard, what was the advantage? Why would we want to add 87,000 new IRS agents? How does that benefit this country?
Well, actually, I'm glad I don't mean to interrupt you, and you can continue your list in a minute, but I'm glad you brought that up. I think you alluded to it last time we talked, or maybe I read it in one of the stories that you mentioned. I don't see a problem with that. I mean,
okay,
that's the revenue-generating arm of our country, and that's how you find tax cheats. That's how you find, whether they're billionaires or the guy next door. The more you have doing this, the more you can find people who are abusing the tax system. I don't have a problem with that part. I think that part of it makes a huge amount of sense.
Okay. we're going to have this adult. We can have these conversations. We may disagree, but it's just the But okay, then tell me that why with gas shortages do we have in America today? And this is what I said it on the floor several times on it. Here we are beginning the early stages of a winter season. The American Gas Association has predicted, because of shortages, that we're going to have about a 30% increase in our heating bill this year. Why would we put an additional tax on our natural gas? The consumer then is going to be paying even higher. It's let alone 30% increase. If they can pay another 30% on top of that, why would we do that? Why was that in the bill?
But again, here's an example of how this bill works two ways and why it's hard to get our head around it, Congressman, because also in the bill is some significant improvements in ways to be using electric vehicles and to encourage the use of electric vehicles, which, like it or not, is a wave of the future. It may not be the wave, it may not be coming tomorrow, but that's something that we need to encourage. So it's a double-edged sword. Again, it comes back to my point. This bill, and I feel like I'm arguing against it, but I don't mean necessarily to be. It's got so much in it, some good, some bad, some I guess right down the middle, that it's hard to get your head around it. I talk to you and I hear all of these negative things, and that's good. We should look at those things. I talk to the Center for Budget and Policy, and I hear all of the talk about child care credits and family leave and how that's helpful to the state and to the citizens of the state. Was the bill just too big? I mean, would you agree with me that there are things in that bill that maybe if they were just tinkered with a bit, individual pieces of it were good pieces of that bill?
I think if the bill were broken down into individual components, I think we could have good conversation. We could amend those things. Right now, we could not amend it. We had to take that bill up or down, and there were just too many things in there that were destructive. But if we broke it down in individual bills where we could amend it, like on the child tax credit, to be able to get that so it's revenue neutral. Remember, we doubled it. We doubled the child tax credit in 2017, and a lot of pundits out there were very critical of raising it from $1,000 to $2,000. But now they raise our. Let's see if we can offset it. Maybe like Joe and I have mentioned, and several have been talking about means testing. There are ways to make it so that it's revenue neutral, that it's not going to be a penalty or a draw or a debt. That we could look at. What are things we can amend into it? Are there things? Yeah, individually, maybe break it into 10, 20 bills. Not try to couple them all into one thing. And what we try to do is keep the size of government down. Don't expand. Just how can we move things around? And that we could do if those bills individually were brought before us, before the committee, where we could have hearings. There were no hearings on this. None. No amendment.
There's a philosophical disagreement you and I have. I think government is supposed to do things. I know that you want to make it smaller. I don't necessarily want to make it bigger, but I think government's supposed to be an active government. It's a philosophical disagreement there. But you would be willing to, again, let's just take child care tax credit, because that one really has been a big conversation. You would be willing to take a look at that piece, perhaps modified, not quite the same way it is in the Build Back Better, but perhaps modified. You might be supportive of something if it was modified and came to you as an individual piece of legislation. Am I saying that correctly?
And in so doing, we make it so that it does not add to the debt. Somehow to do it means-based testing. So why are people that are making $200,000 or $300,000 getting a child tax credit or getting $3,600? That's just not responsible government. Just throwing money around. That's more of a kind of a socialistic program. Let's means test it.
Well,
let's find that we can get it back.
First of all, I think that number.
I want to get to the cost.
I think that number is 150,000, not 200,000 or 300,000. The top line is 150,000, I think.
I'm not.
And in West Virginia, that's a lot of money. In New York City, it's not. That's part of our problem too, trying to standardize this for everybody.
Well, that's always the gamble on that when you try to do a national program like that, because you're right. Like, just for example, when the debate was over $15 minimum wage in New York is one thing. $15 minimum wage in Benwood, West Virginia. That's punitive for small businesses or church affiliated groups or other. So it's always testy when you go to a federal program. That's why I like as much how we can govern as close to the people, whether it's education, tax structure, whatever that healthcare, so that people can have it locally. But that's where I would air my grievances. I feel like Kramer right now, sliding in through the door at Friends and just say, how do we stop this federalizing things? I like, again, I'm going to say, and you and I have had these conversations where we try to deal with these things on a local level, not a federal level.
Well, there are some things that I think are a federal responsibility and some things are not. I don't disagree with you, but I think I disagree somewhat. There are things that need to be dealt with at the federal level. We're going to disagree on this, for example, but I think some of the voting rights legislation needs to be standardized across the country, for example. I think we need federal limits and guidelines, and then the states can work around them, just as an example. We don't have to get into that. I'm just saying that's an example. But I think the point here about dollars and cents, that's a really difficult issue. And you mentioned the minimum wage. It's a great point. The minimum wage at $15 an hour in New York City, you're still, well, I guess in West Virginia it's almost poverty too, but still in New York City, why, you're almost homeless at $15 an hour. So, that's very different.
And
than,
Howard, I think more
than
than
smaller states.
More than the $15, I'd like to have, and maybe you can orchestrate that, is somehow where we can have an honest discussion, maybe meaningful, is how do we get worker participation rate? How do we get young people and people that are eligible to work but have chosen in West Virginia and in our valley not to work? Because I don't care where, any place I go right now, people are struggling to find people willing to work, and it's not necessarily they're paying. Some are paying $15, $20 an hour, but they can't get people to work. I'd like to have a good conversation and learn why. Listen, why aren't people willing to work today? What is it? What's changed in our culture that puts us at that level? We're at the highest, actually I could say the lowest. We're at 50th in the nation in worker participation rate in West Virginia. Why?
Well, it's a great question, Congressman, and we have wrestled with that here on this show. I've had people from all different sides coming in, academics and other folks, to talk about this, and I don't think anybody fully understands it, except to say this: there is a changing mindset among, I don't say younger people because it's not necessarily younger people, but there's a changing mindset about people who went into the pandemic and were working 4 jobs at $8 an hour and stressing themselves and no vacations and all that kind of stuff. And after the pandemic said, you know what, I can't do this. This isn't right. I can't afford childcare. I can't afford to buy a car to get to work. And my life has to change. And now the question is, at some point you got to work somehow, somewhere, right? So
right.
What do you do? What do businesses do? Do they, and you're right, many of them have begun to raise their wages. Some have gone up to 15. Some have gone up higher than 15.
That's right.
They're offering more benefits, better hours, flexible hours and stuff. I don't have an answer, and I'm with you. I think it's something we really need to wrestle with and get a better handle on. I talk to individuals, and I hear some things they say, and I talk to businesses, and they say, Howard, I don't know what to do. How do I get people here? I want them here. I'll pay what I need to pay. It's a great. I mean, it's a huge issue. It's a gigantic issue.
Yeah, I know the one that's a cousin to that issue is how we're going to adjust to remote work, where people are now finding that, and I think it could be a real benefit to us in West Virginia, is we can do a lot of our businesses from our home computers. That you're going to see. I would not want to own a 40-floor office tower in New York City right now. When people have found out that they can do a lot of the business, they've done it for the last 2 years during COVID. They've worked from their home and made it a decent living. Could we not dovetail it back into that in West Virginia to find out where you could for a third of the cost of living, work out of West Virginia remotely and still perform your services, whatever those services might be. I think there's an advantage. We have to be thinking smart right now as we come out of this. We should have learned some things. One that I know that you and I have talked about, and that was over broadband. How the need, we were so far behind around the country in broadband. This is now underscored how important it is. So let's get the broadband, and let's figure out how people, if they're going to work remotely, how do we attract them to West Virginia?
Well, I think it's a great. Listen, I work from home now. I'm sitting at my home studio right now. I broadcast from home, and I will probably continue to do that until I retire. It was forced on me in a sense because of the pandemic, and it's easier, it's simpler, it's less hassle. I don't think it impacts the value of the show at all. We do it the way we always have, and so I'm just one example. This is work for me now. This is where I work. The problem, and you hit the nail on the head, Congressman, is elsewhere in the state. Here in this area, we do pretty good with our broadband up in the Northern Panhandle.
Yes,
there
we do.
Are still patchy spots, but you go downstate in some parts, there's literally none. And cell service also is kind of poor down there.
Oh,
We've
yes.
got to build our broadband infrastructure up, which of course is one part of the infrastructure bill that you actually voted for a few weeks ago.
Yes.
That money is going to go to help improve broadband service, because we can't take advantage of the full value of home work, remote work, I should say, until we have better broadband across the state.
Thank you. Pretty evident. And we're hearing that from manufacturers. We're hearing that from people when we talk with Mitch Carmichael and other folks in the state that are doing economic development. They're screaming for it. Just the faster we can transfer these monies from Washington back to Charleston so that they can allocate it for broadband and get that up and running. It is holding back companies considering West Virginia. There are multiple factors, but one of them, people that come here that want to create things, make jobs, they're looking for broadband. And the second, they want to have assurance that we're going to have a workforce. They'll come, but they want to make sure they have utilities, broadband, and a workforce, and they're ready. When we have a low workforce, that's not a positive. That's a negative. We've got to reverse that. So I would welcome an opportunity to sit down with some of your folks that you talk to and others and listen to what are some suggestions, because then I want to take them back to Washington and try to put them in effect.
Yeah, I think it is maybe the single biggest issue one of the single biggest issues facing us right now. I would agree. But with broadband, it is to attract businesses. No business is going to come and go into a part of your state. No business, none. Nobody who's going to move here as a business if they don't have adequate broadband. Everybody does their work that way these days.
Yes.
And there's great value. Look at the number of people who have taken advantage of these programs that have been put in place. The one that, I can't think of his name, the fellow from Intuit who now is the Marshall president.
Intuit. Brad Smith. He's now president of Marshall.
Brad Smith, that's right, yes. And he and his wife funded this Access West Virginia program, and they've gotten thousands and thousands of applications, people who want to come here, work from West Virginia, take advantage of the beauty of the state and the whitewater rafting and the mountains and all that kind of stuff, and the arts and crafts and the culture. But there are only a handful of cities where they can actually do that. And until we can expand that, we're not going to have room for all these folks. So I think we agree with that, and that's going to be a big thing.
His vision is going to be excellent down at Marshall. His wife's name is Alice. I've met both of them in Washington. We've talked about some long-term planning, how we might be able to work together on this thing, even though it's not district, how we can continue to try to I don't know about you, Howard. It's just so frustrating when I see people leave West Virginia, leave our area, and our population continues to decline. He's got a vision of how he wants to do it. We want to work together and try to stop that hemorrhaging so that people will come back. And it may be through remote. It may be through broadband. There's a whole panoply of things that we can work with that will make this thing happen. But I think that's our goal right now is get people, our children and our families to stay together. And especially when we talk about it because of the holiday season, Christmas. This is a special time of year. And I think it differs from Thanksgiving, is where Thanksgiving often is just that. It's a time for us to reflect on the things that we've been fortunate with. But I think Christmas is a season of hope. And that's why, particularly right now, in talking with people like Brad Smith and folks over with Hyperloop and other places around West Virginia, we've got to have hope that we can turn this thing around. And there are some parts are working, but other parts we're still struggling.
We have to do more than hope. We have to turn it into action, and that's where where we sometimes fall down in this state. We get bogged down in too much debate and too much division and too much politicking about it, and we don't get it done. But I think we're on the right track. Congressman, I need to move on. I'm sure I probably kept you longer than I planned to. I'm sorry about that, but have yourself a very Merry Christmas. Tell your lovely wife and your family the same thing, and
we'll do that.
I'm sure we'll be talking again in the new year.
Merry Christmas, Howard. Take care of your family. God bless you.
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Wheeling Area Congressman Dave McKinley from what is currently the 1st Congressional District and what after the next election will be the 2nd Congressional District. Incumbent Congressman McKinley going against incumbent Congressman Alex Mooney in the GOP primary next year, probably the marquee race in West Virginia next year. And we'll be following it quite closely. McKinley voted against the Build Back Better bill. And it's interesting, depending on who you talk to. You know, just yesterday we had Kelly Allen from the Center on Budget and Policy on, and her whole pitch was all of the positive stuff in this bill. It was all about the child care tax credit and family leave. Family leave actually was, well, there's some still left in that bill. A number of things that will benefit the working men and women of West Virginia, help raise lower income, if not out of poverty, up into out of poverty. And then today, McKinley talks about the downside of it, and all the things that are in there that people don't like. And that's the problem with these big bills, is that there's something in there that everybody likes, but there's also things in these big bills that other people don't like, and that's where the problems come. If we could just get to a point where we can deal with the things we can agree on. That's my point. I've said it over and over again, Biff. Sit down, list on a legal pad all the ways you think we can improve the state, and then take a big red pen and circle the things where we both agree, the left side and the right side. Pass them. And modify them, tinker with them. Pass them. Get them done. Then we'll tackle the harder stuff a bit later on. Problem is, neither side wants to do that. It's a problem on both sides, and I will certainly fault the left in Congress. The very far left, the AOC type group, they're willing to you know, if a Build Back Better bill were to come back, a revised one would come back with child care credits and other things, but without some of the other social engineering issues, without all the climate stuff, they would kill the bill from the left, just as many are wanting to kill it from the right. It's a strange world we live in. And now I'm airing my grievances here on Festivus. I have no grievance with Metro News most of the time. So let's have a look at the news around the state. Metro News is here. Billy D's got morning sports. I have no grievance with... Well, let's have Billy D. He's got sports, and then we'll head into the home stretch, and Biff and I will get ready to begin our holiday break. We are the Watchdog Morning Show here on a Thursday morning.
The Metro News Update is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
One.
Shooting near Barbersville late last. DeWine signed legislation Wednesday that would allow people to place sports wagers online at casinos and at standalone betting kiosks in bars, restaurants, and professional sports facilities. Sports betting expected to be available in Ohio by January 1st, 2023. You're listening to Metro News, the voice of West Virginia. If you've been dreaming of a white Christmas, keep dreaming. The National Weather Service calling for temperatures in the 50s and 60s for Christmas Eve tomorrow and Christmas Day on Saturday. NWS meteorologist Jennifer Berryman.
No, it's going to be pretty warm, definitely above normal for this time of year. It's actually looking like it's going to continue to warm up a little bit going into Christmas.
What we're mostly going to see is rain on Christmas Day. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Jeff Jenkins.
Thursday night football, the 8-6 49ers visit the 9-5 Tennessee Titans. Meanwhile, the 7-6-1 Steelers in action Sunday when they visit the 10-4 Kansas City Chiefs. Of course, the Chiefs feature a star quarterback in Patrick Mahomes. Let's hear from a future quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers who has nothing but respect for Patrick.
From day one, I think we all saw how special of a player he had the potential to be and is proven to be. Some of the stuff he does is pretty amazing.
Two Pittsburgh Steelers, both defensive players, T.J. Watt and Cam Hayward, have been named to the 2022 Pro Bowl. If you're wondering, it's the Indianapolis Colts who led all teams with 7 players selected. The Oregon Ducks expected to hire Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line coach Adrian Clem. And former Steeler running back Le'Veon Bell has another job. He was out of work for a few weeks. Now he is signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. College football, a thriller in the Armed Forces Bowl. Army, with a walk-off field goal, beat Missouri 24-22. The Cadets improved to 9-4. And the Penguins-Flyers game tonight postponed thanks to COVID-19. On this date, 12/23/72, the greatest play in the National Football League took place at Three River Stadium. If you don't remember, listen up. It's Franco Harris's immaculate reception.
Bradshaw running out of the pocket, looking for somebody to throw to, fires it downfield. And there's a collision. And that's caught out of the air. The ball is pulled in by Franco Harris. Harris is going for a touchdown for Pittsburgh.
Coming up in the 2 o'clock hour, Franco Harris and a beautiful list of players who played in the Immaculate Reception game on this date, 12/23/72 at Three River Stadium. I call it Can't Miss Radio on The Variety Show. I'm Bill DeFabio on sports, and we are the Watchdog.
Steel outdoor power tools may be hard to wrap, but once they get opened, you'll see why Steel is so easy to give. Find the right gift this year with battery power made by Steel. From mowers and blowers to trimmers and chainsaws, our AK Homeowner series of battery tools starts at just $199.99. Shop now by visiting your local Steel dealer or going to steelusa.com/gift guide. Real Steel. Find yours. All prices MSRP available participating dealers while supplies last. The holiday season is right around the corner, so give the gift that's hard to wrap, but easy to give. Give them a Steel. From powerful trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws under the tree to branded accessories stuffed in their stockings, the Steel Holiday Gift Guide has something for everyone. Visit your local Steel dealer or go to steelusa.com/gift guide. Real Steel. Find your
build the gas infrastructure for the oil and gas industry here in the Ohio Valley. Plumbers and Steamfitters Local 83 is 300 members strong and growing. They also do residential, commercial, and industrial work on both sides of the river. For more information, call Plumbers and Steamfitters Local 83 at 304-233-4445.
Hi, this is Stacy Spry from Spry's Mail Center Plus. It's that time of year to get your packages to your loved ones for the holiday. We send UPS, FedEx, DHL, and the United States Post Office. We're also the official shipper for Ohio Valley favorites like Patsy's Pizza, Figueretti's Spaghetti Sauce, Jebbia's Fruit Baskets, and Coleman's Fish. Just give us a call and we'll make all the arrangements. As always, we do copies, faxes, emails, scanning, mailbox rental, and much more. Once again, we're teaming up with WKKX for Letters to Santa, so have your kiddos stop by with their letters to read on air by Santa himself. For any shipping or office needs, call me, Stacy Spry, at 304-232-1885. And finally, thank you for giving my family the pleasure of serving you and your family for over 14 years. Happy holidays from all of us at Spry's Mail Center Plus.
Dominating both AM and FM, the Watchdog is AM 1600 and 1370, FM 98.1 and 97.7. We are the Watchdog.
This is MSN, the Mountaineers Sports Network.
A 3, call the Star City Fire Department.
Catch all the action.
Another steal, takes it to the bucket. Slam, dunk.
All season long.
He rainbowed in a three-pointer. Takes the ball toward the basket, pulls up for a jumper and the win. It is no good. West Virginia wins it.
On your home for Mountaineer basketball.
From our family to yours, season's greetings.
Merry Christmas, everyone, from me, Lola.
Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays from the Watchdog. AM 1600 WKKX and AM 1370 WVLY.
Our countdown to Christmas continues on the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe on AM 1600 and 1370.
And the countdown to Christmas for Biff and I is almost done. It's about 10 before the hour. Bob Westfall in a minute or two, and then we'll wrap it up and head home for the holidays. Biff and I off for a couple of days, so stick around. Lots of good stuff coming up for you. Tomorrow morning we'll have First Light. The folks from the First Light will bring you some entertainment and some news during the day. And then tomorrow afternoon around 4 o'clock, we start continuous Christmas music. And you'll hear that on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And then Biff and I also off on Monday. And I think there's going to be some best of shows and stuff. So we'll get together again on Tuesday. And I wish you all a Merry Christmas. Today it's been Festivus Day. And we're airing the grievances. Lots of you have called in or texted in. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. We also were talking about this Bette Midler story. Bette Midler, in her anger at Senator Manchin, said something about, well, your own state is poor, illiterate, and strung out. And it was said in anger. It was very rude. I do not disagree with that. At least she apologized the next day. But it was said in anger. On the other hand, I still say it's factually correct. We are a poor state. We are not an uneducated state, but we have high levels of low education. And we certainly are among the most drug-infested states. Those are just facts. Off our text line at 304-214-1600. Hi, Howard. Let's invite Bette Midler to visit the beauty of West Virginia. This is an opportunity. Okay, interesting point. Also, sorry about your cough, Howard. I don't understand why you don't have a cough button. Well, I have a cough button. I call it Biff. Biff is my cough button. Here at the home studio, the piece of equipment I have does actually not have a cough button on it. Someone got to work on it. I don't disagree with you. It's just I don't. The piece of equipment that I have here that helps me do the broadcasting doesn't have that. Biff, before we go and go over to Bob at some point, we probably should mention we have high school basketball again tonight, right?
High school basketball. Yes, that was actually Bob. I was just putting him on hold and caught the tail end of that. We have Brooke at John Marshall tonight at 7:30. And last night we had Wheeling Central and Trinity Catholic, and Wheeling Central won that game 68-39 last night. And tonight is Brooke and John Marshall. And that is it until next week. And then the teams will go on their little mini Christmas break, and then back in action next week.
All right, so check it out tonight. Basketball for you this evening. And there you go. All right, say before the hour, Bob Westfall is here. Good morning, Bob.
Morning, Howard. How is everything in your world?
Well, listen, I want to wish you a happy Festivus. Today is Festivus for the rest of us.
Yeah, thanks.
We've been doing the airing of grievances.
There's nothing I'd like more than a holiday. That would be my grievance. Holiday that's made up from a comedy television show.
But it's a very important holiday.
Oh,
Somebody's
yeah.
singing back there? What'd you say?
Yes, I have
Okay.
some music on. One of my favorite
Okay,
songs.
well, that's fine.
Bob's
Yeah,
ready
I can't
for
quite
break
remember.
already.
What's the song?
You still there, Howard? I thought you left me.
No, I'm just listening to your music. That's all. It's very good.
It's back when, well, I was going to say back when we were young, but anyway.
Do you have any grievances you want to air?
No.
Everybody's been airing. I had Dave McKinley airing grievances, and Mac Warner aired his grievances. Do you have any airing
No.
of grievances today before we get into the news?
I have no grievances whatsoever. The world.
You are one lucky man.
Mm-hmm. Right. Absolutely. I have no doubt in that.
This is where you get like a pass. You want to complain about the boss, or you want to complain about the coworkers. I tell you what, I've got a lot of people complaining about me today. That I've been their grievance.
So I can't argue that.
See, Howard, Bob's smart because he knows that potentially the higher ups are listening. So he's being careful here and just wanting to go about and give the news and that be it.
I have the best boss in the world.
See?
Well, you do have a pretty good boss, I gotta say that. She's pretty good. All right, let's talk about the news then. What are you working on today?
All right.
Are you gonna do a Festivus special today of some kind?
No. No. I'm sure when Ryan rolls in here.
Well, what are you working on?
What we're all going to be talking about once Ryan gets here. It'll be Festivus this, Festivus that. This whole boomer generation, I just don't understand it. But anyway, what are we working on today? We're going to talk to the people at Roxby Labs, what they did for Thanksgiving. They're going to do again. Offer free testing for those of us that are going to be traveling after when we come back from said travel, just to make sure we're in good shape to continue on what we're doing. So we're going to get some of the wheres and what fors on that. So Roxby again stepping up on the story on that one. So we'll have that. Gentleman is a local man participating in the Rose Bowl parade. We're going to talk to him this afternoon, find out how excited he is to be part of that. I think that'd be kind of cool, especially since the temperatures are probably going to be much higher than they are going to be around here. So anyway, that's something we're working on. ABC News is reporting President Biden is going to run for president in 2024. John Lynch just threw that up on, so we've got that on the website. So we're going to do, I'm sure ABC and CBS will both be following up on that this evening. Last minute shopping, those of you, Howard, that haven't finished their shopping, Howard, we're just going to give them some tips on their last minute shopping, Howard. So.
No, you know what? No. 1 moment, please. Let me air this grievance. I actually have most of my shopping done. I think I have all of my shopping done. Now, I have no wrapping done, and I'm counting on my daughter-in-law to help me with that. But I've got most of my shopping is done. I think all of it's done. How about you? You're nudging me on that. How about you, Mr. Westfall?
I don't give anybody anything.
Well, that makes it easier.
Hey, they have the pleasure of working with me and being my family.
There you go. There you go. Yes, good
So
point.
we got that. What else are we working on today? We're going to keep an eye on the weather. Temperatures are a little cooler than we're getting to, but looks like you're going to jump into the mid-50s tomorrow with a little bit of rain. So not a white Christmas, but probably more like a wet Christmas. So Aaron is in today. He's working right
I
now.
was hoping for a white Christmas, but I've come to accept it now. It's just going to be a wet and warm Christmas. That's okay.
Well, what they're saying about, global warming, we probably won't have many white Christmases in the future.
Don't say that.
But anyway, so we've got that. Sports, bowl games, things like that are kicking up. Steelers got games this weekend. So Scotty and Chip are working on that, so we'll have some details on that. Just kind of a little bit of everything, kind of here and there. Going to, last minute shopping. Going to talk to High State Highway Patrol about what patrols they're going to be doing this weekend. So a little bit of everything this weekend. So we're going to do.
Listen, I want to wish you and everybody a very Merry Christmas, and we're off tomorrow and Monday.
Right.
So I won't talk to you till Tuesday. Are you off Tuesday? How long are you off? Are you back on Tuesday with us?
I'm back January 4th. So I will not see you to the new year.
Okay. Well, then I want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Well, thanks, sir. I appreciate that.
Good on you for that. And despite what people think, I actually enjoy talking to you every day here.
I do too. It's the highlight of my day. It really is.
I'm not so sure about that, but I do enjoy talking to you.
I did follow Teddy's Instagram.
Did you? Thank you. I appreciate that very much.
No problem. So I
thank you very much. He's a very good artist for a kid his age. Well, he's a very good artist. Period. Better than me. I'll tell you that right now.
Or he takes after his.
All right, Bob. Seriously, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you. Pass the word along to all your team over there. You guys are really good to work with. I mean that sincerely. I'm not being the funny guy here. You guys are really good to work with, and Stephen Moore does reports for us in the afternoon. Of course, I talk to Aaron and Zach and you, and I've known Brenda forever. You guys are a good team, and I wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
We feel the same way about you guys. You guys have always been fantastic with us, so we wish you all Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Kwanzaa to all your people over there. That just you guys are great.
And don't forget Festivus for the rest of us.
Hold on here.
Talk to you January 4th. Thanks a lot, Bob. Gotta go. All right, Vicky, you and I are done. We have a few days off. That's good. I got a lot of stuff planned for next week, but that's so far ahead, I'm not going to bother to tell you about it. Stick around. There's lots of good. Bill's got Franco Harris on today. That should be interesting. So listen for that. And then Biff and I will be back on Tuesday with a lot of good stuff. Biff, Merry Christmas to you, my friend. Tremendous working with you as always. Hope you have a great holiday, especially that you have a tree. And good Lord willing, creeks don't rise. I'll be back Tuesday at 7 o'clock. Are you back with me?
I'm back with you Tuesday, and Merry Christmas to you and your family.
All right, thanks a lot. ABC News is already in progress.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
The ABC News is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
New testing.
All right, Biffy. Guess we made it. That wasn't too bad. McKinley's really good today. Yeah, he was. Yeah, it turned out to be a good segment, and the whole, it worked out to be an okay show. I got a lot of stuff I didn't get to, but quite a good bit of it I could hold till next week, which is going to be probably a slow week anyway. So, of course, it's a short week, but it's also probably going to be a slow week. So, I'll hold some stuff, and we'll see how it goes. We finally got things fixed last night with the Central game, yes? Okay. I do not know why it loses. I thought maybe we hadn't saved it, so after the game was over and you were gone, I went back in to check. I thought maybe it needs to be saved. But it's saved. I mean, I don't know why it loses the, programming. I don't understand it. But I can always fix it for you. And I sent you, you can do it yourself if you need to. You just put those, I sent it to you last night. Yeah, just like tape it to the side of the rack or something, or someplace where it's easy to see if we need to. I can always do it. It's no problem for me, as long as I'm, as I get your text, as long as I'm not, at a symphony concert or something. So, but you can do it yourself too. It's not that hard. Just put those in. It's right in order, and just type them in and hit the start. Yeah, it's not that big a deal. But I don't know why they go away. I don't understand that. We have that at the transmitter, the KKX transmitter too. The Winamp just sometimes loses the stream. I don't mean loses it like there's no connection. It just the stream numbers are gone. I have to go in and type them in again. I don't get it. I don't know what makes that happen. So there is definitely that for sure. Okay, if you need me for anything, call me, but I have no problem. You call me over the holidays or something, anything's going on, if you need some help with something. But enjoy yourself, relax, have fun, and I will talk to you on Tuesday. All right, you too. Thanks. I really do appreciate your help. Like I said to the TV7 people, I really do appreciate the help you give. I could not, I've said it before, I couldn't do this if you weren't there and didn't do as good a job. It's just, couldn't do it without you. So, Merry Christmas to you. Yeah, that's what it's all about. And I think we've got our routine down pretty good, so that works out well. All right, enjoy your weekend. Talk to you Tuesday. All right, Merry Christmas. Bye.
If you thought you missed your chance to refinance and save, think again. Mortgage rates have recently dropped below 3%, and Rocket Mortgage can help you save big. You could lower your monthly payment and prepare yourself for a better financial future. But you've got to act now. Call us today at 833-8ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Rocket. Conditions apply. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
This is the week that was on Talkline, with everybody talking about what Joe Manchin said on the show.
I'm not blaming anybody. I knew where they were, and I knew what they could and could not do. They just never realized it because they figure, surely to God we can move one person. Surely we can badger and beat one person up. Surely we can get enough protesters to make that person uncomfortable enough. They'll just say, okay, I'll vote for anything. Just quit.
It's Talkline, weekdays at 10:06, right here on this Metro News radio station. We'll talk to you then.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm the Storm Tracker, Darnell Foster, with a look at your local weather forecast for your Thursday. Look for mostly cloudy skies at times, a few peaks of sunshine, a daytime high near 42. Your overnight low of 31 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. You'll see mostly cloudy with a few scattered showers around for your Christmas Eve, with temperatures in the low 50s for daytime highs. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
Good morning. Welcome to Talkline on the Metro News Radio Network.
Do not attempt to change the station. You are surrounded. We interrupt this program to bring you an emergency news bulletin. Repeat, this is an emergency bulletin. Keep your radio turned on.
From the studios of WVRC Media and the Metro News Radio Network, the voice of West Virginia, comes the most powerful radio show in West Virginia.
This is Metro News Talk Live with Hoppy Kercheval.
Check set line up link. Activated Telos telephone. Switch network control from Charleston to Morgantown.
Stand by. Q Hoppy. You're on.
Metro News Talk Line with Hoppy Kercheval is brought to you by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
And we're broadcasting from the Encova Insurance Studios. Ethan Collins is our producer. Mark Spruill with the video stream. You can watch at WVMetroNews.com. Phone number 1-800-765-8255. Text me 304-TALK-304. 304-TALK-304. I enjoy the text interaction.